Hello, my little fairies and my little ones. How are you? Lovely to see you. How are you all doing? Yes. Good to see you. Hello, my little fairies and my little fair men. How are you and your brilliant mom? Here I am with the story Pollyanna, and this story is about glad game. To stay happy, glad means happy, khush, to stay happy all the time. So let's get started. Once upon a time in a faraway village, everybody worked and lived, and they were happy. There was a small orphanage. So there was a small orphanage, and in this, for the last few months, who had been living here? Yes, Pollyanna, the name I gave you. Now, she was a little girl, and her parents had died, so she had to move to this orphanage, and she had to live in there. But luckily, her aunt Polly, and she had been named after this aunt Polly, was living in the same town, so she volunteered, and she offered reluctantly. She felt she was used to her manners and prim and proper ways. She didn't like anything going out of order, and she had a beautiful house. But she gave in, and she said, "Okay, I'll keep Pollyanna with me." Now, when Pollyanna was picked up by Ginger, and that was Aunt Polly's maid, she was taken there, and Pollyanna was so excited. It was a beautiful, big house. It wasn't a small house. It was a big mansion with gardens and fountains. She loved it. She got so excited. Oh, wow, what a beautiful house. Well, let's see what happens to her. And when she was received by her Aunt Pollyanna, but she was very stiff. She would hardly smile, though she was beautiful. "Oh, okay, Pollyanna. Hello, Pollyanna. Well. Oh, thank you, Auntie." She was always so happy. "Thank you, Aunt Polly, for having me, allowing me to live with you. Oh, I'm so lucky and I'm so thankful." Well, but her aunt said sternly, "Well, I had no choice." So then she told her maid, Ginger, "Oh, please go and take her to the attic. Take her back to the attic. That's where she's going to stay." So, and then soon she spoke to Pollyanna and said, "Pollyanna, you follow the maid Ginger, because you can get lost." So, hopping along, she didn't mind, and she was taken to the top room where nobody went, and it was more of a storage type, but since she had a big house, so she didn't need a storeroom, so she was put in the attic. It was a huge attic with a little bed and a little desk and a big window. But she was happy. "Oh, look at that. What a big room it is. How beautiful. And I have a window and I can see outside." She was so happy. And Ginger was surprised. The whole house was empty. And poor little Pollyanna was sent upstairs, but still she was happy. She was glad. "Wo kush thi." Well, Ginger said, "If that's the way you look at things, fine. If you're happy, we are happy. But remember, the dinner time, the supper time is at 6. You cannot be late even 1 minute. If you are, you'll be in trouble with Aunt Polly." So, anyways, Ginger left, and so Polly thought of exploring the house. She loved the gardens and the flowers and everything. And since her parents had died, she missed all that. So she went out, she hopped and skipped and jumped and smelled flowers. And then she lay down in the grass, and whenever she was alone, she would speak to her dead parents, And she said, "Oh, Mommy, Daddy, I'm so happy. It's such a beautiful house. "Oh, you would have enjoyed visiting this house, but I'm happy. I'm going to live here." And then she was daydreaming and she dozed off and she was talking to flowers and smelling them. And she kind of dozed off because she was so happy and relaxed. And the time was ticking. It was past 6 o'clock. It was 6 o'clock and 2 minutes. Oops! And Daisy was calling, "Pollyanna, Pollyanna, Pollyanna, Pollyanna." She was looking for her and she couldn't find her. Well, okay. But then she went out and looked for her, and there was Pollyanna, dreaming away with a smile on her face. And she woke her up. "Pollyanna, it's 5 minutes past 6, and you're not there for supper. Now you're in big trouble." Well, Pollyanna was in a good mood. She kept singing. She didn't care. She didn't think that she was that late. But when she went to the table, it was a grand table with food on it, and Aunt Pollyanna was sitting like this. "You're late, Pollyanna, and that's not on. You have disturbed the order and the timings. Bring her dinner now." And she was quite unhappy. But Pollyanna was, "Oh, Aunt Polly, the house, I'm so sorry. I just went off to sleep. Your house is so beautiful. It's so beautiful outside. You should come outside and take a walk. Oh my God, the flowers are so gorgeous. So is the grass and the trees. You have a gorgeous house and it's a lovely day outside." But Aunt Polly would not respond. She didn't know how to be happy. She could always see the negatives. Now, she said, at the end of the dinner, she said, "Okay, Pollyanna, since you were not on time and to teach you a lesson, you're going to be punished." So she went upstairs to the attic and locked her up. Oops. And she was locked up there, but Pollyanna was okay. For a minute she felt sad and she, "Oh, Mommy, Daddy, I miss you. But then she looked around and she thought of something and she walked to the window. Look at the scene. It's like a painting. The whole sky was studded with stars and beautiful, and the moon and the light and the starlight was shining on the flowers in the garden. It looked so beautiful. She stood there. "Oh, thank you, Mommy and Daddy. It's so beautiful. And you have taught me how to stay happy." So she was happy. If I had not been locked, I would not have been able to see this beautiful scene and enjoy it at my own leisure. And so she had a lovely time, and happily she went to sleep. She didn't complain. She didn't continue to cry. The next morning she was sent with Ginger to the market, and there, oh my God, she came across a boy who was standing there playing with a ball. He asked Pollyanna to play with her while Ginger was buying groceries. So they played and they became friends. Now, Pollyanna was very keen and sensitive, and she always wanted to help people. And then she saw this gentleman, and he was standing with a very quiet and serious and sober face, and he didn't talk to anybody. So she went to him and talked to him, and he was happy to talk to her because she was so polite. "Oh, hello, I'm Pollyanna. What's your name, sir?" And he said, "My name is Richard. I live in this town too." "Oh, all right. It's really nice meeting you, Mr. Richard." And she talked to him for a few minutes, and he started talking to her because she was so friendly, and he really liked her. And he said he'll visit her one day, and it was nice talking to her. Now she had already made 2 friends, Mr. Richard and Sam, the boy with the ball. And now she went home and she was happy, and she told her Aunt Polly about Sam and Richard, but Aunt Polly was least interested in going out or doing anything, enjoying the scenery. No. So it became a routine that Pollyanna was to go with Daisy to do grocery shopping and have a little bit of an outing because she liked to be outdoors in the fresh air. So she kept going and she would meet Richard, and then she used to play with Sam every day, and they became best friends. So now she wanted to bring Sam back to Aunt Polly and introduce him as a friend so he could visit her. And when she went in, and Aunt Polly was upset because he was shabbily dressed. He wasn't from a very rich home, and but they were very happy. Why? Because Pollyanna had taught him the glad game how while they were playing, and he looked a bit sad, and Pollyanna asked him, "Why are you sad today?" He said, "Well, I'm tired and sad because we have the same, my mother makes the same soup every night, and we have to have the same soup every night. Oh, I'm so tired of it. I want to eat something new, something different." Oh, but Pollyanna said, "Do you know of the glad game that my parents taught me?" He said, "No." Well, she said, "What could be worse than having the same soup? Think about it and tell me." And he thought about it, and then he said, "Well, the worst would be not having any food to eat and to have to starve and sleep with an empty stomach." "See," Pollyanna said, "see, Sam, now you already know what's worse. So you should be happy that you have soup every night, and then you have food, you have 2 courses meal instead of sleeping empty stomach. So that's the glad game. You think of the worst things and they're not happening to you. So what you have, you are happy with that." Oh, and Sam said, "Yes, I'm already feeling good about it." And you know what, Pollyanna going to the market had made friends and taught them the glad game as well. So people really liked her, and they were always happy to see her. So was Mr. Richard. So now when she took him home, Miss Sam, and now Aunt Polly was very upset. She didn't want a dirty stray. "I don't allow strays or dirty children in my house. I'm sorry." Sam was so upset. He had felt humiliated, and he started running. He ran and went around the gate, and poor Pollyanna, how loving she was, she started running after him. "Oh, Sam, stop, listen to me. But he would not stop, and he crossed the street. But Pollyanna was so upset and so engrossed in looking and following Sam and calling him that she didn't look right and left, and she had a bad accident. A car bumped into her. Oh my God, that was so bad, and she was badly hurt. Unfortunately, she had to be taken to the hospital, and there at the hospital, the doctors operated on her, and then they said they were not sure whether Pollyanna will ever be able to walk again. And while she was in the hospital, Aunt Polly was missing her at home. So was Ginger, because she was always talking about happy things, and she cheered up their home, and she talked about good, nice things. So they came and visited her, and Aunt Polly would sit there, and then she saw that Pollyanna was still happy, though the doctors she might not be able to walk. Oh, it's so nice. Everybody's so nice. She taught the cat game to the nurses and the doctors, and they would come and laugh and spend time with her. And Aunt Polly said, "I don't understand, but we miss you so much." And Ginger said, "We miss you so much." Then Mr. Richard found out about that, and he came and visited her. And then he told a secret to Pollyanna. "You know what, Pollyanna? I knew your mother. We used to study together. I loved her. She was the best. And you're so much like her. You know, I have so much money and the whole house to me. Would you like to come and live with me? And I'll get the best of doctors for you, and I'll make sure that you start walking." "Oh, that's so nice of you, Mr. Richard, but I can never leave my Aunt Polly. and Ginger alone. No, I know they need me, and I love them, and she has been so good to me by keeping me in her house. Well, then Mr. Richard kept quiet, but then she thought of something, and she said, maybe there's someone who needs your help, and that would be great. Mr. Richard, sure, I'll come after 2 days. And now Aunt Polly and Ginger would visit her every day. They missed her, and now Aunt Polly had started smiling, and she wondered how Pollyanna could be happy when she was so badly injured. Well, Pollyanna said, well, I have good things. You come and see me, Mr. Richard, Sam, the nurse, everybody, and I'm sure I'll become stronger gradually and slowly. Something good will happen. And that's exactly. And she told them about the proposal by Richard, that Richard had asked her to go over and get the best doctors. But oh my God, and they were shocked, Aunt Polly and Ginger. Wow. But she said, not to worry, I'm never going to leave you, Aunt Polly. And Ginger, I love you so. You've been so good to me. There was a sigh of relief and big smile on Aunt Polly's face finally. And yes, we are so happy that, oh, you are a ray of sunshine in a life full of clouds and rain. Oh, Aunt Polly was admiring her and loving her. So she was taken back home by Aunt Polly. But then Richard sent the best doctors to her, and they taught her gradually. They helped her exercise. They gave her the right medicines and food. And gradually, after a few months, because of the good doctors and help of Richard, she started working. See, good things happen to good them. And she was the most positive ray of sunshine in everybody's life, even the villagers. So then she was happy and enjoying herself. But guess how she had helped Sam? She had sent Sam to Richard, and Richard had sent him to school, and gradually he started working for Mr. Richard, became his assistant, and he looked after him as a personal secretary, so he had an extra money coming to him, and now his parents and his mother could cook different food. Their home was much more comfortable and happier, and Sam was very happy, and so was Richard, and they all lived happily ever after. So don't you forget the glad game. I hope you enjoyed the story. So try to be positive and be happy with what you have, and not cry and complain and crib about what you don't have. What do you say? I hope you enjoyed the story, and remember the moral. Khuda Hafiz.